Hey everybody, thanks for coming to check out one of my PGA model breakdowns. This week we are at the WGC HSBC Champions over in China. So an early start, depending on when you're watching this. I'm doing this at about Tuesday at about 5 o'clock. You'll probably see it around 8-ish, something around that range. And lock is in 24 hours from there, 9 o'clock tomorrow. So or 8:45. Very interesting early start, even earlier than the last 2 weeks. But anyhow, we're here for my model breakdown. And what I decided to do this week is instead of going right into my model, I'm actually going to start on the page, on the awesemo.com page where you'd find it, and just make sure that everyone is downloading it to their hard drive so that they can access all of the cool features that I got embedded inside of it. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in and start off. Okay, so here I am on the Awesemo page. Okay, here. And this is exactly what you see when you go to it. So, of course, the little download arrow is right there. You just click download. You're going to see this first pop up. Don't worry about that. It's just certain features inside of Awesemo that you won't be able to see once you download it to Excel. So once you download it, you go ahead and open it. And I'm just taking you through the steps. Obviously, this is going to be somewhat, and there's mine behind in the background, just so you can see there. As the HSBC in parentheses 2 is loading up, it's literally the exact same file, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, now to be able to use the cool feature still, you have to save it. Or, oops, sorry, it clicked off of it there. So you have to either save it, which is going to tell you, hey, would you like to save this file? Yes, you should. Okay, so when you save it, you want to save it as something different than the exact thing you're downloading it. It'll just be a little bit easier. So enable saving, pretty easy there. And sure enough, it'll now come up and bop around a little bit there. Okay, and then it's going to save. This takes a little bit of time because there's so much data embedded in this. And again, if you're really savvy with Excel, you've probably already figured this out, and I really don't even need to be discussing it with somebody like you. But if you're somebody that's not too savvy with Excel that wants to be able to use this exact feature that I'm going to right now, the strokes gained database and weekly cheat sheet, you have to follow the steps that I just did. Download it and then save it to your hard drive. If you're still having problems, let me know. You may just have to connect to my OneDrive, or I just may have to share it differently. But pretty sure this should work. I haven't had any complaints once I've walked people through it this way. So in any case, I'm just going to back off of this model here. Again, just to recap, since I'm back on this page, you press download, save it to your hard drive, and then so on and so forth. Okay, so now back up into my model. Apologize about that. All right, so across the top looks like Carl Yuan. His price changed, or his name changed, sorry, since it opened up. So I'm just going to put those in so we can get a quick little sort here very quick. All right, so across the top, official world golf ranking, of course. The model rank, make your own model rank, odds, DK, FanDuel salaries. Got my ownership in there this week. I'm actually feeling pretty good about it this week. One of the most confident I've felt, at least going in. I got Rory McIlroy coming in close to 30% this week. I don't think that price is going to scare anybody. With good course form and especially good recent form. I suspect a lot of people will be going back to Tony Finau as well. I'm sorry, going to Rory McIlroy, going to Tony Finau as well, and Tommy Fleetwood, along with Poulter, Matsuyama, and Justin Rose. Those are the top 6 guys projected in terms of ownership for me at this point. Now we'll sort by my model really quickly before I go into the strokes gained database and weekly cheat sheet, and the DK database and model that I put out. Okay, top 5 on the board. Rory McIlroy leads by 9 points. That's a pretty big separation there. Xander is 2, Hideki 3, Adam Scott 4, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose 5, and 6. Very close there. So that rounds out the top 6. All right, let's head into the strokes gained database weekly cheat sheet. I've added in course history as it's back this week. As you can see, Justin Rose, 3rd and 1st in the last 2 years. Going back to 2014, came in 4th as well. In 2015, out of 48, so not great. Got the recent form as well. And then I got the strokes gained in DK points screener. So no starts since the Wyndham for Justin Rose, as you can verify. Well, looks like Okay, looks like I got to update that. I apologize, guys. I will update that as soon as we get off so that we'll be updated and we'll be able to see that. Obviously, the strokes gained, that's why, because the strokes gained database is working. It looks like the DK points one. I might just have to move over. Apologize there, but still, this one, the screener, I am looking. Here's the criteria that we're looking. Here's the number of starts that it's been in, so on and so forth. So I like to use that to see what guys have the ability to go pretty low in terms of their strokes gained and get on the high side. We don't just want a guy that's matching the field. We want a guy that's beating the field by a significant amount. Okay, so now we'll move into the second switch that I did. It's, sorry about that. It is in the ownership data. Okay, the ownership data, I have added in all of this year's. I told you I would do that last week, and I have done that all the way back to the Sony Open, so almost a year's worth of ownership data. It's great to see the peaks and valleys of each player, and you can tell somebody like Tony Finau, who's across the top, doesn't have any what we would call red. Red is a very low-owned. It's just good to see for everybody in the field where and when. Eventually, I will add in their salaries as well. It's just another column, which sometimes it kind of jumbles things up. However, you can see the last five, the max, the base projection, my adjustment that I'm making based on just trends that I see in the industry, trends that I've seen in the past tournaments. Those are just my guesses. So really, really good there. Of course, if you want to go see course history, you can go see that. Andrew Putnam, only one try here, but came in fourth last year. Going to see recent form, going to see Cameron Smith is playing well in the last 4 weeks. 2 starts, go out to 6 weeks though, it's not as good. Of course, the approach proximity we mentioned on the pod last night. We talked about quite a bit. So you can go in and see here, projected by @MattJonesTFR on Twitter. He put out the full sheet if this sheet doesn't for you, and a few other graphics there. So check that out. So I think that's a pretty good run through here. I try and keep these breakdowns relatively short. Sorry, I wasn't even framed there. I apologize. Hopefully you find them useful. If you're already an Awesemo.com premium member and you can't find some of these features that I'm talking about, you can't figure out how to use it, just ask me. I'll be glad to try and walk you through it. If you're not already an Awesemo premium member, this is a perfect reason to become one. These are just one of the many tools among Alex's model and ownership projections at Awesemo. So just a bunch of stuff. And of course, if you're looking for more free stuff and you're watching this before 8 p.m. on Tuesday, feel free to go ahead and join the live video live before lock show, which we're doing it a day early because of the early lock. With Ben Raz and I on this exact YouTube channel. So until then, everybody, cheers and good luck this week.